One looked a fairly big sort of bloke and one was a little bit smaller. G'day guys, just thought I'd come on and tell you a bit of a story, something that happened here the other day. Lynn wanted me to make a video. So anyway, look, I've had a bit of a crook back for a few weeks and I haven't been able to do much, so yeah, on Friday it was a bit of a funny thing happened. We had some visitors in the morning. I was sitting around a bit and talking, and when they left, I can't sit around much. I either got to lay down or stand up and keep moving. So I was over in the hut over here, laying on the bed, talking to someone on the phone, and my daughter comes over and knocks on the door and said, "Dad, there's people up on our rock hill," which is this hill behind me here that you can see. Most of you probably would have seen it. It's not far from our house. So she said, "I don't know what they're doing, and I've got another bloke's cattle in there, and they're pretty sturdy. You can go in there on a motorbike or horse or whatever, or a vehicle, and they don't take much notice. But on foot, they start running around." So anyway, and she said the cattle are running around the hill, and so I thought, oh boy, what are they doing? So I gets up and I come out, and there's two blokes up there. One looked a fairly big sort of bloke and one was a little bit smaller. So I thought, what am I going to do? Because I had a bit of a rush of blood, I guess. So I walked over to the fence and bellowed out at them and told them, you know, "What are you doing here? Get off me place." Because I've had a few people over the years want to go up on this rock hill. They reckon it's a bit of a special site. So, but I never had an issue before. I've had people have either contacted me or driven down here and asked me could they go up there. So I haven't had an issue. But anyway, I think it was just, I was just trying to have a rest, and I thought it narked me a bit. So anyway, I get over to the fence and I bellowed out at them, and Lynn was in the dog yard. She didn't know what was going on. She didn't know anything about it. And so next minute, one of them fired up, and he started swearing, he calling me for everything, and come out here and I'll effing fix you so-and-so, and I'm thinking, oh boy, you've done it now, Wayne. You got a crook back. How are you going to handle this? So a few things went through my head, and anyway, they started marching down the hill. And I thought, well, I'm not going to let them get to the house. So I thought, oh well, you live by the sword. So I headed off up through the cattle yards and down the laneway, and I was going to meet them. And this one fella's mouthing off. Anyway, I'm walking down there thinking, you idiot, Wayne, you got a crook back. I'm just starting to get around. I'm thinking, that was me worry. I thought I didn't want to jigger me back completely and be out of action again. So I'm trying to walk down the hill, look like I'm pretty fit, and you know, I'm not lame or anything. Just trying to keep my posture up. And I thought I'm going to have to make the first couple count, because it's probably about all I've got in me. And I'm thinking, so I'll walk down there, and there's two poly hot wires that I've got a horse in the laneway. So I thought, the only bit of defence I've got, there's these two hot wires. I'll stand back about 3 or 4 foot from them, and they're going to have to come through that to me, so they're going to have to bend down to get through it. Whereas with those poly wires, you can just stand on them and walk through them, but I thought they won't know that. They'll duck down and go between the two wires. So I thought, that's my opportunity. So but I'm walking down there thinking, you idiot, you're going to wreck your back, you know, and be out of action again. That was my biggest worry. So anyway, there was a carload of them up on the top of our place, and these two had decided they were going to jump the fence and come down. And I should have handled it different at the start. I shouldn't have got too fired up about it. But anyway, that's what happened. So they're coming down the hill. There was one bigger fella, and the other fella's a bit smaller, and it was a smaller one that was doing all the yapping. Anyway, I'm standing there, and they're getting closer and closer, and closer they got, the yapper started to shut his mouth. And anyway, they got to the fence, and it didn't come to blows, but it was it was a bit heated for a while, and I talked them down a bit, and it worked out all right. So, but unbeknownst to me, Lynn didn't know what was going on, and apparently she got my daughter and said, take this machinery down to Dad, you know, blah blah blah. And so I'm glad that didn't happen. But anyway, one thing led to another, and the one that was doing all the abusing, because he was calling me for everything, that's what fired me up. I thought, don't abuse me on my own place, mate. But anyway, he ended up, I think I bluffed him. I think I might have bluffed him a bit, because as he was walking towards me, like I say, then he shut his mouth, and they just walked up to me. But yeah, it was a bit hairy for a while, and anyway, it ended up okay, like I say, but they headed off back up to their vehicle. The other ones were sitting up there watching them, and I think he was just putting on a bit of a show for his mates. But anyway, I said to my daughter, just watch how they get through that electric fence up there, will you? And they went up over the top of it, just climbed it like a ladder and held onto the post. So I thought, oh, that's great. So I went back up there later and checked, and sure enough, my insulators are screwed on the post with screws, because they're not meant to be climbing on them. So here's 4 or 5 posts with the insulators ripped off, so I had to repair that. And I wasn't too happy, but yeah, so that's how it ended. But yeah, probably a good thing I had a crook back. It could have ended a different way. So anyway, catch us later, guys.